So I'm going to skip out all the introduction, don't need to. Like I say, you will have watched the last video on the first part of the drums. This is the drums part 2. So pick up where we are left off. So we talked about last time the arrangement that I did, how to slice it to MIDI, how I got the lo-fi effect on here. So we talked about the flamming, which was this little section, this little guy here, the pink one. So this is where we're going to move on to this part. So this little section. So this is just the same as before. It's a case of repetition. And you can see here the end of this sort of that ride sample. I've done another pitch bend on there as well. You can see, you can hear it. So it goes down the pitch. Same thing again, just in your envelopes, choose clip, transposition, draw your pitch bend in, whether you're going up the scale or down the scale. And then this little guy comes in, the mango ride. If you've got headphones on your own speakers, you'll hear it like passing between your ears. It's got a lovely little stereo image to it, and that comes from this guy. The Native Instruments Phases. This was actually free at some point. Like when Native Instruments chuck things out in emails for free, I grabbed it at the right time. And now we're coming to Black Friday sales. You'll find that they're going to do something like this again. So keep your eyes peeled for any sort of freebies from any of the major plugin guys. So with it off, let's have a little listen with it off. And with it on. Just got a lovely feel. I love phases. So you don't necessarily have to use the Native Instrument one, but like I say, the Ableton one's pretty good. But I just love the sound of it. I think it's a really good little effect to stick in your tracks. So back to the drums group. Another little pitch bend here as well, you can hear. Going up. So let's talk about this. So this bit has got a pitch bend going down. So you can see there, goes right down. And this, I think going up is quite good for building tension, but I think going down is something that you use to really introduce a dramatic change. And I class this as dramatic change because it's going to be basically breakdown. Then the EQ that I had before, that comes back on, so taking the lows out. So the guy here is just my second breaks loop, and just layered it on top. So let's have a little listen to it. So what I've done to this is, it's not a huge amount of stuff. I've just played with the transients because jungle loops are notorious for being very sort of wishy-washy because they've got a lot of ghost notes. They've got a lot of things. It's very sustained. It's got loads of fizz, because they're all really old sort of loops, and they've all gone through like really old desks. They've been recorded in proper rooms. So they've got loads of reverb, and when you're layering it, you've got to be really careful because they're very busy. Like breaks loops, and if you put too many together, they're going to start like mushing up and sounding like not good with each other. So how I really wanted to pick out from this one was that I really like that snare. It's contrasting to the one I've already got, and it's got some extra notes in. So I really needed to stick out. So I clicked on it, and then because the Beats watermark is what defaults, but then I've just pull this down to transients. Then it's this one with the one arrow, and it's on the right arrows on the sort of the right hand side. And then I've adjusted the transients. This is going to sort of just tighten things up for us. It's going to get sort of gate things for us. So if you ever listen to it. So it's tightened it up, so that means it didn't take away the impact from the original one. I just wanted them extra snares to really poke through, and I think it really gives it a really good dynamics. If you listen to it again, I really think it's a good little change. I didn't want it all the way through the track. I wanted just to really sort of come in every now and again, but this is the breakdown. And then the low pass, the high pass filter comes off. Crashes again. That ride sample comes in. Back into me guitar amp, lo-fi section. Same again. It's all copy and paste from the other part of the arrangement. Pitched it up. There's the flamming effect. Reverse. There we go, pitch it down. Then to this section here, I decided not to put that new breaks loop in. And then it's just like once you've got a strong 32 bars, so I've got this original section, lo-fi section, original section, but with a reverse on the end, lo-fi section, but it's got pitch bend, well, a couple of pitch bends in, and then it's a case, and then obviously I've got the crashes in the rides sporadically throughout. But once you've got 32 bars, then it's just a case of like lifting it along, and then adding different elements to it. So like I said, if you look at the arrangement, it looks very sort of in symmetry, because it is just I work within 32 bars, and then I sort of copy and paste things along and either take things away or add things to it. So the only things that you can see that's really changing is when this sort of new breaks loop really comes in. But if we have it, that's sort of the arrangement. That's my sort of take on how to affect things. But let's have a look at the processing side of it. A lot of the old samples have a lot of weight on the back end. Even ride samples will have loads of low frequencies. Just make sure you're high passing whatever is not a bass or a kick. You want to be high passing, getting anything under 100 hertz away from it, because it's going to, like I say, just eat loads of headroom. So let's have a look at so I'm a big fan of group processing or bus processing. So what I've done here is removed some of the lows, because I say it's got loads of weight in and I don't need it. It's going to sort of clash with my bass. I've got a Native Instruments solid bus compressor. You could use the glue compressor, it works the same. It's just to really just clamp it down a little bit on those the transients of those snares, because they do really peak quite a lot. So I wanted to really sort of just make things cohesive. Saturate it, just to, like I say, to gel it all together. Add some mid-range harmonics. I've just reduced the output down a bit on that there, because like I say, when you're driving it up 5 decibels, you need to sort of make it back, cut it back in the output. And then I've added on just another EQ at the end, just to make sure that it hasn't added any other lows to it. As you probably noticed, no reverb. I've used no reverb at all, because these old samples have been recorded in rooms and they've got a lot of their own reverb, and like I said, I just didn't think it needed it. Even if I thought at the time, I was thinking, oh well, do I put it on just to put it in its own space, like on the group? But honestly, I didn't think it needed it. I think it has its own space naturally. just because of the type of sample it is and how it was originally recorded. So that is the drums. Like I said, summarising it all for you, really, it is just a case of picking the break sample you want to do, whether it's an Amen or a hot pants or a funky drummer, and then starting from there, slice it up to MIDI, and then arrange your MIDI, freeze and flatten it, commit to it, drop it in, color coordinate everything so you know what you're working with, and then just make an interesting 32 bars, and then just keep duplicating, and then you can take bits away or add things in as you go along. So that wraps up the drums. So thank you for checking out this. Thank you to all the subscribers who subscribed waiting for this series to come out, because I know you've been dead interested in it. But hope that's give you a bit of inspiration, a bit of insight into the way I've processed these sort of drums here. But if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I've got more. This is a series at the end of the day, so I'm going to going through the basses, the sound design, more arrangement stuff. Like I'm going to go through some bit of music theory on it as well. I'm going to go through just sort of really stripping back this genre and thinking of what is it made up of, and this will help you with when looking for samples or like choosing different waveforms to start with. I'll be going through all of that. So that's all for this one. Tune in for the next.